Hey everyone, DefNotHanzo here, today showing you how Pip can be played to his full potential. But first, for those that don't know me, I'd like to briefly give some background. I played among the top 1% of competitive Overwatch players, and a lot of what I learned transferred to Paladins. In 275 games, I've maintained a 65% win rate. The fundamental concepts I'm going to cover apply to all skill levels, so please, stay tuned. Now let's talk over my loadout real quick. My primary focus in all of my flanking builds is sustain and cooldowns. Weightless is the central part of this loadout. I want maximum weightless uptime with a very powerful heal attached to it. This combined with Pip's healing potion makes him an amazing duelist. There's a little bit more flexibility in the remainder of this loadout, but I do recommend the no self knockback card and reduce damage, because without it, you will do a crap load of self damage. Alright, let's jump right into the action. Starting off, I decide to play a little passive and hold high ground. Right away though, Androxus gets caught out by Buck, which we then both close in on him for an easy kill. You want to always be aware of what's going on around you and look for ways to force 2v1 situations like this. Now, no matter what flanker you're playing, the enemy healers should be on your top priority list for those to kill as soon as possible. Using your ult to kill their tank can sometimes trump this, but more on that later. We're able to catch out Fernando, but unfortunately we lost ours in the process. Notice I'm holding this high ground here directly above the point. From here I can catch out nearly anybody, and chase is necessary. I can also easily heal my allies. At times you're going to see me purposely get near walls before jumping up. If I didn't do this, I wouldn't be able to get the proper jump height to scale it. If you've seen my previous video about basic and advanced techniques, you'll probably know why this is. In Paladins, standing next to objects gives you extra jump height, but with Pip, this effect is amplified by weightless. Throughout this video, you're going to see me constantly using this to my advantage. I'm going to maneuver next to an object, then use weightless, or do it in the middle of my jumps. What you just saw there was me saving my ult specifically for Fernando. Since their other tank had just died, I knew that Fernando, with Ying's help, could probably stall until Makoa returned. I used my ult to deny that, and now they're stuck with no objective presence for at least another 25 seconds. If you're wondering, why use my ult just for a single target? It's because Fernando is such an important target, and the opportunity guaranteed he would die. The healer can be easily killed without using an ult, but Fernando cannot. Now you can see the effect this has caused. The enemy, in frustration or panic, is trickling in one by one. Makoa is nearly dead as Fernando arrives, then Ying arrives to die shortly after. If you take anything from this, don't be that Makoa. I hear about it all the time. I had the most objective time, he says. My team is too busy flanking, no one plays the objective, I'm always by myself. It's really a case of bad positioning and decision making. The best course of action for the team would have been to either wait for their flankers to get a pick, or wait for all 5 members to be there, or both. Yes, time is ticking, yes, you're losing the objective, but it doesn't matter how close to capturing the objective your opponent is. What matters is who gets it in the end, which means who is the last man standing. And oftentimes that's determined by who has the numbers advantage. In the background I'm dueling Androxus and doing a pretty piss poor job. There's a lot of things I could have done better, but I ultimately overstayed my welcome. What's the first thing I do after dying? A defensive item, just for him. Always buy your items according to the situation. Later on it's going to save me several times. I also go for lifesteal because, well, I go for extended duels. My effective health is only increased as the fight extends, which is untrue for anyone without some form of sustain, like Androxus, pending his loadout. This duel went a little bit better thanks to my defense. Keep in mind my effective health is significantly higher due to all the healing. It's not just protecting my base health, but all the health I regenerate too. If you have nothing better to do, always try to take out Ying clones to cut down their healing. Pip is a flanker's best friend. I see Buck go in here despite his low health, so I decide to follow. We're able to pop Maldamba before they can even react, and the fight is ours. This is a perfect case point for why flanking is so important. Sure, with enough sheer firepower and cauterize, you can kill the tank straightforward, but a much easier and better option is just to take out the key members and then focus down the vulnerable tanks. The second best ability in Pip's kit is his slowing flask. Look at how easy of a target Maldamba is for Kinessa now. There aren't a whole lot of slows in this game, so when you get hit by this flask, you're sure to know it. I tried to save Kinessa here, but unfortunately Andraxis took Cauterize. I used Weightless here to disorient my opponent. Notice how I used the crates to amplify my jump. I'm able to get a couple free shots off to sway the fight. Giving away the high ground sealed his fate. My teammates overextended, so this round ended a little abruptly. At this point, I'm assessing our team's strengths and weaknesses and seeing how I can best spend my money. Naturally, Andraxis will keep flanking Kinessa and I, so I opt for defense. I decide to initiate on their tanks with my ultimate. Maldamba had just been released the same day of this footage, so I didn't respect the counter healing of his poison pool. Next time I know not to use it while they're inside of it. Again, I'm using the wall to amplify my jump. I very deliberately go up to the wall and then jump to make sure I get on top of it. You'll see on the bottom right that my entire team's about to get wiped out. I also didn't peel off Andraxis from my backline. With all enemy eyes on me, I'm forced to try to survive. In situations like this, do your best not to die. Don't jump on the objective and wildly use your ultimate, just make the best of it and try not to feed a free kill. Each death gives the enemy credits. He catches me with the reversal damage, so I'm forced to run away. This duel went pretty horribly, not just because I whiffed a few shots and I nearly died, but because I wasted a lot of time. Sure, it's technically 4v4 for the rest of the team, but given the way both teams have been playing, the only way I'm going to win this is if I'm worth more than one person. With Kinessa's help, we catch Ying off guard, and with my ult, I follow in to grab the other healer as well. If you're a flanker looking to improve, consider if you've ever been in that Andraxis' situation. He may be frustrated with losing the duel, but he should be more frustrated with the impact that it had on his team. He gave me free reign to take out both of his healers, potentially losing him the game. Reacting to being shot, I go straight into Weightless and try to disorient him again. You'll see that Ying tried to help him out by throwing a clone up here, but it was just too late. If Andraxis was thinking logically, he would assess the situation and realize he can't 1v1 me. It's okay to realize that. This game can still be won with better coordination. What he needs to do is go in together with Maldamba. With both of their damage and a lucky stun, there's no way I can survive. What happens instead is tragic. Try not to let tilt be the deciding factor in your matches. I found these next two shots pretty hilarious. Makoas, beware of hooking in pips for this reason. As soon as the fight's over, I go straight back to my defensive position on high ground.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the meantime, I opted for Tier 3 Haven, by the way. I wasn't respecting Andraxis enough, and when I went to panic jump, I realized my path was cut off by Maldamba's poison. In retrospect, I should have went for the nearby window and hid instead. There's not a whole lot to say about what you're about to watch, so I'm going to talk about something I've been meaning to mention. Ultimate management. While not a black and white subject, in general, be wary of when you use your ultimate, and on who. You could be wondering why I don't just turn Maldamba or Andraxis into chickens and call it a day. It's because the impact wouldn't be high enough. I was confident in my ability to win the fight. In fact, I would rather die and not use it than waste it on either of them. The impact is dramatically increased when used on their tanks because it turns a scary 5700 health 10k shield monster into a tiny little chicken. Ult management can win games just by itself. Lastly, when attacking or defending the payload, ask yourself, will using your ultimate make reaching the end a possibility? Or will you fail regardless of using your ultimate? If you don't get the extra point, there's literally no point in wasting your ult for no gain. Likewise, when defending, if the end result is the defense was successful anyway, then it's better to have all 5 members with their ultimates ready at the start of the next round. You might be noticing a trend here. Every time I ult from far away, I completely waste it. Andraxis lands 4 nice shots in a row, which really sways the fight in his favor.
Enemy killing spree. Enemy killing spree.
I see Buck's really low, so I drop down to help him out. These blocks here are pretty useful for getting back onto high ground. Tier 2 Cauterize is really helping me tear through all that healing. At this point, I'm anxiously scouting out Andraxis because I haven't seen him in a while.
15 seconds remaining. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
I lead in with Weightless so I don't give him a free headshot.
1. Overtime.
Now, I'll be honest, I didn't know the jump you're about to see was possible, but this really showcases the power of wall-amplified weightless jumps.
Enemy rampage.
We're able to get Makoa right away with this ult, and somehow Fernando just barely lives, unfortunately. Buck and Fernando chase Yang, while their Fernando sits on the point uncontested. With the numbers advantage already in our favor, we really shouldn't have gone for that, as I could have zoned Yang myself. But that's not the worst of it. Andraxis gets a triple kill. As per the usual, things are looking pretty grim here. I realize the only way we're going to come out on top of this is if I make a power play. I see Makoa come around for the flanking hook, so I decide to go aggressive instead. We stalled just long enough for the team to arrive. Here, every point counts, so I let Buck worry about dismounting them while I hang on the point. Our Fernando finishing off theirs was crucial. I make the risky decision to go in for the duel.
We are strong.
While I'm within Makoa's shield, I take the time to shoot the ground so I can hit both tanks with my slowing flask before going back to high ground. My feed freezes up here unfortunately, but I don't think we missed anything too exciting. The most important targets are dead and the point is handed to us.
Victory.
Well, there you have it. I gotta say I think this is one of my highest damage games with Pip. The playstyle you see me use here yields me all golds almost every game. And I tell you this not just to toot my own horn, but also as further evidence in my argument that this is the way Pip was meant to be played. If there's things that happened in this video that I didn't explain well enough, or at all, please drop a comment and I'll get back to you with an answer. Or if you're just looking to chat, that's cool too. For making it this far, you are awesome, and thank you for watching.